everybody. Welcome to the episode of this Divine Power Life today. How to identify your ego-led desires and activate your soul's desires. So as people are hopping on, I invite all of us to come into a space of presence, of connection to the here and now. And as you are joining the space, please just say hi, make a little emoji, tell us where you're from. It's always beautiful to see people's comments. And just arriving in the here and now. Bringing all parts of ourselves into the present moment. Anchoring and rooting down, connecting with Mother Earth. And bringing the energy up through the central channel of our chakras into the heart and up through the top of our head, out into the center of the universe. And from that space back into our heart, that is really the seat of our soul, of our higher intelligence. In alignment with this topic of today, do we as well ask this deeper activation of our soul and that intelligence that lives and resides within all of us to guide us and for our mind to be able to surrender to that space. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining, and as well everyone who's watching the replay, hello, hello, and welcome. So, how to identify the ego-led desires? Let's start with that one. Because basically, I feel there's so much contradiction around desires in the spiritual world that we can find. There's like this one more, let's say, ancient and mystic understanding, that maybe yogic understanding, and I myself have lived in an ashram for longer amounts of times and have followed this pathway extensively, where it's really about shedding your desires and releasing your desires so that you can unify with the divine, with God on a deeper level. And obviously there is some truth to that, but at the same time it can as well be a roadblock. And then there's this other idea of fully like embrace your desires, follow your desires, and we're like encouraged to just go for it, which as well is amazing, and there's truth in it, but then in the same time it can be an obstacle. Because if we are just going ahead and chasing and following our desires without even knowing what our true desire is and where it comes from, we are just staying in that ego-based paradigm. I'm just using this word ego, but you know, it can be the collective conditioning, it can be the programming, the mental constructs, our wounds, however we want to call it, right? I don't like to put the label, but I'm just using it for the sake of communication. So this paradigm is keeping us, when we are coming from those space of our lower desires, is that these desires are coming from a space of lack. So perhaps we want to make more money, right? Like we all want to make more money. I mean, I want to make more money, right? It's not good or bad, but let's use this example. We want to make more money, or we want to have more clients. We want to have a business that is booming, and we want to have more engagement and all the different things that often, like, I feel I see, and I been going through a lot as well, you know, and I've experienced a lot in my life where I was coming from that space. But then when this wasn't fulfilled or wasn't seeing that outer reflection, there's this deep disappointment, and there's this deep pain. And there can be almost like this disconnect from the present moment, because we are so focused and fixated on these desires and on what it is that we want, that we are not in the presence, because we actually are not happy in the presence. And that's why this focus, this constant focus, which actually as well creates dopamine on our desires, like go, 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 keeps us running in that cycle. And with that, coming back to that mystic yogic wisdom, it does disconnect us from our higher intelligence, from God, the divine, right? Because God, the divine, the higher intelligence is only in the present moment. And it's only in that space that is really beyond our mind and the story that we're telling ourselves of where we have to go, what we need to be, and what we need to do. It's really a very, very subtle intelligence in which we live and that lives within us. So when we are so focused, overly focused on what we want and what we don't have, and how can we get there, and what do we need to do, and you know, I see a lot as well on the, you know, make your 6 figures and do this and do that. And again, I'm not saying it's not good, you know, or don't want that, but there's just this focus on it that on some level maybe as well says or teaches us that something is not right if we are not there, if we don't have this amount of money, or we don't have this amount of followers or clients or so on. And it means, you know, we are like, I for a long time believed I have to have that much money, and when I have all this money, then it's a proof that I'm like spiritually evolved and all that. But you know, it comes to so many more levels and layers, and it's not true. It's not true. You know, we can be highly, highly spiritually evolved and connected to our inner guidance and wisdom, and maybe haven't unlocked that frequency of bringing in the deeper levels of money yet. You know, maybe there's still more teachings, more things that we need to learn before we get there. And it's all always showing up in different ways. And I mean, I feel like the like money and the relationship with money is a whole like chapter itself, right? So I'm not going to go too much into that. But coming back to the ego-led desires, is how we can identify them is that when we are coming from an ego-led desire, that first of all, we are going to, we're going to want it to happen now. And if it doesn't happen, we will not be happy. We will feel lack, because the ego comes out of lack. It's, or, you know, that separated idea of who we are comes out of a space of lack. So it gets impatient. It gets grumpy, you know, and all those different things. It feels not happy and not fulfilled. So that's a very, very clear indication that what you are looking for is an external way of fulfilling that inner lack. And it doesn't mean that this desire that you have is not as well your soul, but it's tainted. And as long as we are not able to fill that inner lack from an inner space, because it's inside, so we need to do work the inside, it doesn't work. Otherwise, we will not be able to really come into that space of wholeness and live in our higher divine vibration, which is really a space from where we are then working with our soul-led desires, where we can move from that inner space of trust and that inner space of knowing and that inner space of love and that inner space of surrender as well, for when the things don't work out the way we want to, that we are still on the right path, that we are still in alignment, and that ultimately we know we are co-creating with our higher intelligence. So it's about coming out of resistance with the things in life that don't go the way we want, and into this deeper surrender. And you know, it's such a deep journey, and it's as well something that I've been coming through on deeper and deeper layers, especially as I've started to be more active here on social media and promote my business more here throughout all these different platforms, and everything that it's learning and that it's teaching me, you know, and it's really teaching me this deeper level of surrender and of love and of deep, deep worthiness from inside, and knowing the value that I bring, that I carry, and understanding and experiencing this deep connection with my divine presence, and then from that space being able to go beyond, well, not necessarily beyond, but heal the tendencies of, you know, the ego or my wounds, or the inner child that has all these expectations up on how things should be. So it's really, really a deep, deep journey into so much trust and faith, and really allowing one to drop by healing everything that is preventing that trust and that faith, and everything that's coming from that lack and impatience, that it's like, I need this now, and if I have that, that's not now, why not, and I'm the victim, and all of that, to go into that with a lot of love and presence, to be able to heal it, to be able to feel it. Like, my work is all about feeling and guiding the people I work with deeply into the emotion, into emotional and energetic mastery, and then from that space rise up into that deeper fullness of the heart, and deeper love, a deeper trust, and really it's from an embodied level. So actually the way how it feels like it feels amazing, because what happens is that this higher intelligence in our soul, when we purify all the gunk, there's finally space for this higher intelligence to drop deeper into our physicality, and it's like an expansion of our cells, of our nervous system, and it's like a deep opening and expansion of our energy field, and it's like a homecoming into the present moment, and into love, and just into, you know, the beauty that life has to offer for us on a daily basis, every day, all the time, you know. And that's why the yogic and the mystic, those teachings share and suggest to let go of our desires, so that we can come back into seeing that we already are whole beings, right? But then in the modern age, and as well in my personal approach, I don't fully resonate with letting go of our desires. I just feel I resonate more with healing, being able to see where our desires come from, and being really fine-tuned with that. And then as well inquiring into, why do I want this? What is this giving me? And most of the time for everyone, what it will be what they want and look for underneath is freedom and love. So where are you not in freedom and love yet within? You know, where have you not embraced the totality of who you are and as you are now? The unlimited nature that is truly the true freedom. Because, you know, money can never give you freedom. Yes, maybe it will give you access to more activities. But at the end, if there is still a wound there, and if we don't feel safe and supported and free inside, then there will be always fear that the money will go. You know, so it's not really gonna work to feel it. Maybe for a moment, but at the end we have to do the inner work if we truly want to lead from our soul, and if we truly want to be in that space of living our soul desires and our purpose. And that these soul desires, they are so divinely beautiful. And you know, when we open up to that, it creates such a deeper level of peace in our body, because it's just a deep knowing. It's a deep knowing, like, oh, this is just what my soul desires, this is what I came here to do, this is who I am, and there's no need anymore to try to prove it or to chase it, because there's just a deep knowing. You know, and then of course, yeah, we are humans on the journey, things will happen, you know, maybe sometimes we get desperate or we get scared and all of the things, part of our human nature, yes, but when we are still leading with our soul and our soul's desires activated, then we will always come back into that space of the wisdom of our soul, and we have that beautiful safety that divine is providing us and holding us in, you know. And it takes deep commitment, it takes radical honesty, and it does take letting go of your desires on some level, not because they will not happen, but in order to inquire, how will you feel like if this is never going to happen, and what is underneath, you know? And what will happen if you just stop? So, you know, is there going to be like this emptiness and this lack inside? So it does inquire that, but the thing is, one thing that we always have to remember is that the divine God, however we want to call it, is so deeply merciful. And I know that sometimes when we go through very challenging situations in our lives, we may not really experience it in that way, but the moment we really choose to do the work and do surrender, the mercy always comes in. And I'm sure some of you who are watching the replay, I'm sure you have experienced such moments where you're like in this deep despair and suddenly something happens and you're like, wow, you know. So if so, please just say, put in a yes, put in a little emoji, thumbs up, so I can see that you understand what I'm talking about and this resonates. As well, if you're watching the replay, please share with me. Thank you for the little heart there. So basically, this is it. You know, this is the beauty of this work. It will always lead us back within. It will always lead us back into finding it within first, so we can manifest it outside. And both of them are so important, you know, because it's not about hiding, it's not about detaching from the material world or from life, but it's about coming into this space of deep wholeness, and then from that space, our soul desire is going to activate fully. Okay, so this is the work that I do. This is the work I guide the people in through deeply healing the emotions and the places that we experience as lack or not good enough. Through deeply bringing in this energetic intelligence and mastery of aligning the energy field through that higher wisdom and through that higher divinity. And of really, really holding a beautiful, divine and clear container of love and support, which is so important, where one can feel safe and rest and sit back and feel nurtured. So if that's something that you are calling forth, that you want to go further with, that you are ready to bring into your life and ready to receive on such a deep level and transform into the next level of living from a space of fullness and creating your soul desire from that space, please go ahead and book a call with me. It's a free call where we map out the road on how you can actually exactly get there, what is needed for you, what is blocking you, how can we move it. It's a really, really amazing call that provides a lot of value, and it's for free. I'm going to put the link in the comments, so please just go ahead and book that in if you feel inspired. And to end this live today, I would like to guide us through a little activation and meditation. So to embody this wisdom on a deeper level and to connect to our soul. So just closing the eyes. Breathing into the heart. And into the present moment. Feel how all your cells and your meridians and all your organs are opening and relaxing and resting into the present moment. Now feel a golden light descending from the heavens down into your crown chakra and into your body and all your cells, and deeply, deeply into your central nervous system, giving your central nervous system the permission and the command to rest and relax now, transmitting to your central nervous system that it is fully safe and held and supported, and that it's safe to release and let go of any traumas or energetic blocks that are still held and being held onto. Just feel the smoky gray energy leaving from your central nervous system and from your cells and out of your body and down into the earth, where it's transmuted. Even thanking those past blocks and conditions, because they were only here to keep us safe. But now we don't need them any longer, so it's time to go, to be released. And now, as you are abiding in this luminous field of light, golden love, come back into your heart, to the center of your chest. And ask the question, what is it that you truly desire? Ask this to your heart, to your soul. And see if you get any answers, any insights, images. And just take a deep breath and stay with that feeling and that knowing. The reply from your heart, sometimes the mind tries to justify or say it doesn't work or it's too much or whatever, but we'll just stay with that simple wisdom of the heart. Slowly, in your own timing, can you open your eyes again? And please share with us in the comments what it is that maybe it's something very intimate and something you want to keep sacred to yourself, but then you can just write a word or even just make a little emoji. But would love to see what the response of your heart, your soul was, and by sharing it, we are bringing it into life. And this is a very, sacred container in our group. So knowing that it's safe and being amplified here. So I would love to hear what you received in your meditation, and as well to anyone watching the replay. Love, yes, beautiful. Yeah, and then you can go ahead, and if it's, for example, love or freedom, you can do this meditation over again and ask, how can I bring more love into my life? What can I do? And I would love to hear as well. If you do that, please share. You can even send me a private message if you want. I just really, really love to hear people's experiences through everything that I'm sharing and offering. So that's something that can help you to connect with it on a deeper level as well, and then how to bring that into your life, because the answer is always here. It's always here. It's not out there or somewhere else. So that's so important to remember. Okay, and your heart always knows how to give the direct answer. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for everyone who's watching the replay as well. And I send you all so much love, and I see you next week. Bye. Thank you.